This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by HostGator. Coming up, Jeff and Alex get an exclusive hands-on preview of the WoW expansion, Mists of Pandaria.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the Totally Rad Show. We've got a great week chock-full. Today, Jeff and I wandered down to Irvine, down to see
Pandaria.
Blizzard. So we're gonna have a little bit of a preview for what they're coming up with in their new expansion to World of Warcraft, Mists of Pandaria.
Yes, and then tomorrow, what is tomorrow?
Tomorrow is WonderCon.
What?
Yeah.
We're going down to WonderCon as well? Wow, WonderCon finally made its way to Anaheim, so we made our way there, and we're gonna show you some of the sweet stuff that we saw.
Oh yeah.
And then on Wednesday...
Yeah. Are you missing the information that you need?
No, I've got it. No. I definitely had it, but that would have been awesome. Yes, we are going to talk about the TV show that's been airing called Missing.
Yes. That's a fact. Thursday, we are finally seeing the hotly anticipated Hunger Games.
And then Friday we're gonna attack each other with full-on verbal warfare, movie style, versus one-on-one movies.
What you were saying started sounding awesome, and then I was like, I think he means versus.
It is awesome though.
That's awesome. Versus is awesome, but what you were saying
verbally attacking each
I was
other.
like, we gotta figure that game out.
Versus is.
I wanted to, really?
Well,
maybe.
I don't know. I feel like there's another way of doing that.
So,
Speaking of awesome.
Backgrounds.
Look at how cool that is. That is a dragon from Warcraft,
Yep.
sent to us by Jason Solemn, with the name of our show printed in text.
It's very sort of like found footage. This is like if Cloverfield was an MMO.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, this is
Like
maybe
that.
what it looks like.
Wait, that's what I was saying last week, remember?
No,
but
I don't
it's
remember
better
what
when
Dan
Alex says
says. Anyway, let's get into the show.
Wait, one quick thing I need to say.
Go quickly.
If you're going to be in Los Angeles on March 24th, midnight at UCB Theater, you can see me, Christian Spicer, the stand-up comic. We're going to have a comedy show built around the geek world and video games called Double Jump. It's $5 to get in. Go see it.
My fist hurts.
It's awesome. The new World of Warcraft expansion, Mists of Pandaria, is on its way to us. It's getting ever closer, and Blizzard invited us down to take a look at it and give us a bunch of new information. Alex and I made it down to Irvine, so we're gonna brief Dan. We were in Blizzard HQ, and they had a 2-hour presentation that was this massive info dump.
Lots of info,
Wow.
and a lot of the game, the expansion is done.
Yes.
A lot of it is done, and that's one
I
of the
think it's getting close.
They were like, we're not going to talk about it. Literally, at one point, they had the world map up of the new expansion,
Which is bigger than what they showed at BlizzCon. There's 7 zones now instead of 5.
Yeah, they added some zones. They talked about how when they were developing these sort of like, they're calling them subzones, so they're sort of like, you know, areas inside a zone that started taking on this life of their own, and they went, hey, there's enough here for us to be able to bring the sort of stories stuff and, you know, the arcs of these little zones as subzones, so they broke them out. And so the one thing I'll say, the first thing you notice is how gorgeous this is.
Yeah, it really looks great for a 7-year-old game.
Amazing.
But I think, interestingly, I mean, there's a lot to cover here. But
Yeah.
interestingly, I think they presented the game right away with, we've heard the complaints.
Yes.
You know, and they get the fact that people reacted to this very strongly of like, oh, pandas, oh, silly kind of cartoony, light. Especially, they said, on the heels of Wrath of the Lich King and Cataclysm, which are all big world boss enemy, huge, bad, dark. And interestingly, I think they made a very big point to say, this expansion is this, but wait, the next expansion and the one after that are going to be very dark.
We're going to take a breather. You can't just be dark, 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 dark. This is going to be a little bit of a, okay, this is fun, this is great. Yeah, and then we're going to get into these other expansions where, horrible stuff happens.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, even Burning Crusade, I mean, even as far back as Burning Crusades, they have all been massive things leading up to Cataclysm, which was literally, we're shattering.
The world is rending.
Yeah,
There's a giant dragon on top of Stormwind, and bad things are happening. So, as you said, very, very pretty. It's a much lighter look. It's got lots of color.
Yeah.
Lots of color.
A lot of color.
And interesting, they showed a lot of the new dungeons. There's going to be 9 new dungeons. Almost all of them they show. There's a couple that aren't this way, but most of them are outdoors.
Yeah.
And you see the entire map of the dungeon above ground.
So it's sort of like the Hellfire Brigade. What was
Chasm?
it? No, it's the one that's on the. I can't remember, what do they call those things? The
Fjord?
No, it's on a wall of a castle, and there's a word
chalice?
for it. Yeah, there's a word for the
Trellis?
Yeah, there's something like that.
All right.
Something like that. But what's the word for the tops of a wall of a castle?
It doesn't matter.
No, but that was the first instance in Burning Crusades, and it was an outdoor instance. You would go in, and then you would be on the. Oh my God! I just almost had it. I just almost had it. Not storm gates, but something like that.
Yeah.
It'll happen midway through the rest of this conversation.
Yeah.
But yes, and it's great to see the outside perspective and then be able to go into the instance. And they said that the full size of the instance is visually represented in the world. And one of the things that they said that added was the ability to do quests. You're working on it. To do quests. To do quests in and around the dungeon before you go in, so you know more of the sort of experience of it and what's happening there. Then when you go in, it's like, okay, we finally get to go inside this thing and deal with this.
And they literally...
What?
Is it a parapet?
No, but
They
close.
literally... there's speaking of pets, we'll get to that in a second.
Oh my God, there's more than a pair.
More than a pair. They literally stepped through each of the zones, gave us a visual tour of each of the zones on the map, and showed us really a lot of interesting things. The thing that stuck out to me and struck me was that they're really making an effort to put in things to do in the game that are above and beyond just level progression and item progression.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Like
I think
what?
so. For example, there is in the first zone that they showed us, which is called the Jade Forest. There is it's all very Chinese looking, Chinese temples, and it's really beautiful.
It's gorgeous,
really
yeah.
beautiful.
Racist. Go on.
No, there's a temple that is, you can get a cloud serpent mount, which is this awesome like
It
Chinese
looks
dragon.
like a Chinese dragon.
Stop this.
They're called dragons. They're called dragons.
It looks like a Pandarian dragon.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, but you can't just get this mount. You have to get the egg, and then you have to nourish the egg, and then it hatches into a tiny dragon. You can't ride yet, and you have to like do daily quests and feed it and build it up, and then it becomes this awesome flying mount for you.
Yeah.
That looks really cool.
It looks really, really
it.
cool. My worry is that because my biggest problem with a lot of this endgame stuff is that they go, well, we'll just give you a quest that you can do every day, the same quest, and it's like I don't want to do the same quest every day. I can only do. I mean, literally, don't have the time. I can't. You know, my worry is that the phase between egg and hatching is you have to do this same quest about the egg. Like, get the rocks that you have to put around that are hot, and you have to do that 20 times.
It's possible.
Every day, 20 times. Then it hatches, and then it's like, okay, well, now you have to do the pick the grass to feed it quest that you have to do all the time.
You're guessing that this is.
I am guessing
Isn't that
because
like
they've
every
not.
quest in WoW anyway?
Well, then, I mean, we'll get to that.
Okay, so
or any
another
of them
Valley of the Four Winds is another area that looks more it's like this farmland, and it's like plots of different vegetables, and they have
This is where we get really weird stuff.
Yeah, there's this special water that happens in the Valley of the Four Winds that makes the vegetables grow super large.
Yeah.
And then he said you can get your own farm that you can then cultivate plants in.
It's weird the way he said it because it's Farmville.
Of course.
They're figuring out how to put these games in it, and the thing that they talked about is there's this guy who is a farmer, and you can earn faction points for him, and as you get more and more friendly, you're basically helping clean up his farm.
Yeah.
And in doing so, that is your farm now that you can then help him plant stuff. But the cool thing is you can plant herbalism materials for you to then use
nodes,
to make potions.
like actual nodes that you can then just go and use all
also
the time.
stuff for cooking. So there's this whole big thing. Now the big question we had was, it looked like it was a specific. I mean, there wasn't 500 of these. There was one. And so the worry
he said it's yours.
Yeah, but so
in
the worry
MMO
is
environment, it's odd.
Well, but they've gotten into this phasing thing, where your friend is next to you, but you can't see him because he's already on a second part where this wall is broken down, so you can't see that person until you get there.
And the top of that wall would be called
a parapet. No, damn it. You just got me into it again because I'm so close. It's like Storm Castle. But anyway, I know people are probably no.
Abacus?
Well, look up Hellfire Peninsula Dungeons. That'll get you way quicker. It starts with a C, I think. Anyway, so the thing is, it's cool, but the real worry is going to become, well, do other people get to see this? I mean, if it's really trying to be Farmville, you got to be able to get your friends to go, hey, come over to my farm. I got lots of stuff for you to mine.
Yeah,
it'll be great.
Or does it just phase for you specifically?
Phase for you. It's like I got to go do.
They were unclear about that, but it is a really interesting kind of cool thing. Oh, the other thing about the flying mountain, that other area, there's like a race that you can participate in.
After you get it.
You can like do this flying race, and you have.
What is the gameplay of the racing?
They
didn't show it, but they showed like a course
to go
and
through,
flags.
Like, does it take skill or is it?
I would think you have to guide your dude.
That's interesting.
Like you would during a race.
That is interesting.
There's all these other areas that look really beautiful. There's this place called Kunlai Summit, which they said has the biggest mountain in all of Azeroth that you can go up. And it's kind of like the snowy peak that you can get to the top of. And I'm sure they serve Chinese food at the top. And then there's the Veil.
It's called Pandaria Express.
Nice. So it's shitty.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's the Veil of Eternal Blossoms, and which is the sort of high level, end level area that they showed. A beautiful, like golden, sunset looking with
it's
giant
gorgeous.
statues.
It's gorgeous. But now this is the 85 to 90 content.
Oh, okay.
Right, and this is one of the biggest things.
So it's one area that you
just like
you can
Northrend.
be in a part of it.
Northrend
low
was
level, then you leave and you come back. And
no. There's a part that is the turtle.
Yeah.
The island. That's 1 through 10 starting
starting
area.
area.
Then there's Pandaria, which is the 85 to 90 area.
Oh, so it's
like Northrend, where there wasn't a sort of like starting area on Northrend. Like you went to Northrend when you got to 80 or whatever.
I guess I could start
or 75.
a guy, play the whole starting area, and then take my 85 and go
Or you
into.
could
So this is
level
the
up.
biggest. I think
Or I
this is
could
the
level up.
biggest
Or I could spend the
problem that
next 3
WoW.
months.
Yeah, I think this is the biggest problem that WoW has with this expansion, which is if you have a level 85 character and you're still interested in the WoW way of playing, it's a must buy. I think. I mean, you gotta do it.
It's your crack.
It's your crack. But if you are a person who's like, I've played WoW, I have some 85s, but I want to try Monk because that's the new skill thing.
Class.
1 through 10, awesome. New content, everything's great. 10 through 85, all the same quests that you have done over and over again, no different. I mean, it's just like that grind.
It's 3 to 6 months of all this. It's not like, oh, God, I gotta do these for 10 hours.
I'm sure there's some people out there who do it in a week or 2 days.
Well, sure, but none of us. You know what I mean? So not your average.
Well, let's keep going. Let's keep going with some of the new stuff that they showed. I'm not even acknowledging that.
No, I have a question.
What's the question?
My question is there anything new? This wasn't my question originally, but is there anything new with given the there's no other.
That's the biggest. That is the biggest thing for me was we sat down to play it and we all had level 85 guys, and the first thing I did was I ran up to an axe that had an exclamation point, and a wall of text came. I hit OK.
Well,
I know.
Did you accent anything or no? What's the thing that they're talking about where you can have a brand new 85 or 90?
That's a promotion that they've been doing
That's a promotion thing to
right
get
now.
Characters back.
Yeah.
Get players.
But let me tell you about. There's lots more to get.
Yes.
This is a 2-hour presentation, and it was just pure info.
All right.
So one of the coolest things that I saw was one of the new dungeons that they showed called Stormstock Brewery.
Yes.
Which was awesome, just on a pure design level. You're in a brewery that has been taken over by monkeys.
By crazy drunk monkeys. That is literally the instance.
Drunken monkeys.
It's drunken monkeys.
Yeah. So it's a full-on dungeon. You walk in and you have to fight things, but what you walk into is like monkeys with barrels like getting wasted. It's
it's like a drinking party.
It's like a scene out of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, you know, but with monkeys.
That boat, that island,
Yes. Whatever.
Tortuga.
Hey, Tortuga. And there's like barrels of kegs.
Right? No. Ramparts!
Oh yeah,
Hellfire Ramparts. Outside on the ramparts. Ramparts!
Yay! Okay. Anyway, so there's like kegs on the ground, and you can jump onto the keg and
roll them into monkeys.
and do damage to them because you rolled on a keg.
It's
like a barrel roller, you know,
cool.
like a log roller type of thing.
That's awesome. That's
so many cool things, and there's like killer bunnies, and they show there's one of the bosses is this enormous killer bunny.
It like vomits carrot juice on you. It's funny.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is not in SWTOR, you know.
It's
stuff
whimsy.
Like, not just
not the
but
whimsy.
The interaction.
There are. I'll tell you.
Quest type, whatever.
Well, we don't need to compare this. We don't need to compare this to any other game. I just want to kind of talk about.
I love that. I love that.
Okay, so we got 9 new dungeons. They redid Sholomance, which looks really pretty.
Looks great.
There's the PvP stuff looks insane.
Yes.
You would love this because there's one that looks exactly like the cart sequence from Temple of Doom.
Yeah,
it's
where you're trying to hold the mine carts.
Yeah, it's a PvP battleground.
Where carts are being sent randomly, and you have to try to like get the cart, and then if you control the cart when it hits your depot, you get that those things.
But it's not just carts on the ground. It's like those sky tracks that are in Temple of Doom.
It's Temple of Doom. I mean, it's awesome looking.
Awesome looking. And the concept that you can like attack and channel on this switcher board. So if you want to have
switch it to make it
to
go
your
the long
team
way
goes
around,
it's so cool. Okay.
And then they have a sort of like a sort of what's the thing with the holding the skull in Halo?
Oddball.
They kind of have an oddball thing where like you pick up this thing, and then the longer you have it, the more points you get. Where you are in the map, you get double points.
Interesting.
And then it actually does like a buff on you where you can do damage, but then you can't hold it for very long, otherwise you start taking damage.
It's pretty neat. Cool. And then the pet battle system, which I think you and I both came out of there going, this is really unique and awesome.
They blew my mind when they stated, we wanted to figure out how to get mini games into World of Warcraft.
Love it.
And
that's what I'm...
Because here's the thing, I think when people saw the pet system, they went, what the hell is this weird other thing? But the fact that that Blizzard came out and said, we want mini games in the game.
Yeah, it's a full turn-based strategy game.
No impact on your character, no impact on the world.
And even cooler than that, they said we want to remove, it's very much aimed at the casual because we want to remove any sense of defeat that you might get in other PvP. Even though you can do PvP, you don't know the name of the person you're fighting against.
You can't talk to the person you're fighting against.
You can't talk shit to them. You can't, mock them, and they don't even track your losses.
There's a 0 loss thing, so it just shows you how many times you've won.
It's cool. It's it seemed really awesome, and they finally showed the turn-based system. Yeah. Also, challenge modes in PvE.
Which they had with the achievements, but they just upped the level now where they're timed challenges that you can take. It's that stuff is...
And
what is it? I don't know what this is.
You can, there's like, you do a dungeon, you can do the hard mode of a dungeon, or there's this third mode, which is a challenge mode, which is like you have to beat the dungeon under a certain time or by doing a certain thing. And then there's medal system that'll award you certain rewards, like cosmetic only.
And cosmetic only. That's the real big key because they realized they didn't want it to be like you get the best gear by doing these things. It's just that you get like gear that you can wear and be like, yeah, what's up? I'm king of the challenge modes. You know what I mean? Or mounts or things like that. So it's really cool stuff.
So taking away any kind of like your time, you're definitely a SWTOR guy now, but as a WoW fan, do you think this looks like a solid expansion that... Are you excited about it? Do you have any disappointment like, oh, I wish it was more of the hardcore? Because I kind of think this is a nice, refreshing breath of fresh air.
I think that they've gotten rid of the hardcore. I mean, I don't think they care about the hardcore right now. They care about it. They care about it in the way that they say, we want everybody to be able to experience hardcore, which is fine, but I think that, the word hardcore shouldn't be applied to that then.
Yeah.
But I think... I think that this, if you are a WoW fan, this is a no-brainer. I don't think it's the cutesy BS stuff that they thought. It has a lot of the same tropes that WoW is sort of, always does, which is, though they talked about how different the character models, you got your Naga kind of type guy, you got your monkeys are already in the game, you got your Taurens.
I thought the female panda looked kind of cool.
Female panda looked cool, yeah. Totally. So I think, you know, if
Female,
you
not male panda.
Well, they both, but they just debuted the
announced
thing.
it, yeah. So I think that, you know, if you've left WoW, I don't know if this is a real pullback unless you've been pining for that kind of experience again.
I think I'll probably play to 90.
I don't know if I will.
You will? 85 to 90.
I think I will.
I want to play starting area for sure. You don't want to play the starting area?
No,
Monk?
The Monk, look, we played a little of it.
They
It's
should do
pretty
this
awesome.
promotion when this comes out so we can all be monks later in end area.
We can all be monks later. That's the Dan Trachtenberg approach.
Dan Trachtenberg
hey, listen,
approach.
I'm going to do whatever I want now because we can all be monks later.
Bam. All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're going to be answering one of your Twitter questions right after this. But first, we want to thank our sponsor, HostGator.com. Can get your blog or website up and running in just minutes with plans starting as low as $3.96 a month. You get 24/7 support, access to website building tools with over 4,000 custom templates.
Wow.
They'll even migrate your current site over to HostGator for free. The servers are blowing like crazy, powered by 130% wind energy. That's more energy than they need, but it's lovely wind. You get unlimited disk space, unlimited bandwidth,
Wow.
a 45-day money-back guarantee, Dan.
Why does Dan seem so nonplussed?
45 days!
Crazy.
$100 Google AdWord credits to market your site, and for TRS viewers, HostGator is offering you 25% off your order, or the first month is completely free. Just go to HostGator.com, enter the coupon code TotallyRadShow, all one word at checkout to get your savings.
If I'm not mistaken, the only reptile-based hosting service.
You know, I think we might be right.
Just thought that was true.
Yeah, they have gator farms. Anyway.
Join us tomorrow when we check out this year's WonderCon.
Today's Twitter question comes to us from Brandon Blair at @BBlair86. Pretend the video game, TV, movie, and comic book industries don't exist. What alternate occupation would you take up? It's very interesting.
Yeah, I like this idea.
Yeah, what do you think? What would you be
Well,
doing?
the one that comes to mind first is kind of a cheat because he didn't. I would say
Comic book.
Right? No, writer.
Literary.
Yeah, novelist.
But I think that's implied.
Is it?
Yes.
It's because it's a creative
Yeah,
endeavor.
it's the whole, yeah.
Then I need another second to think.
Well, I was gonna say that or music.
Yeah. So okay, non-creative endeavor.
Yeah.
Right.
Much more difficult.
I had always
the
had
family industry of
I always
dentistry?
had a desire to go into law enforcement. I've always wanted to be like an FBI agent or be like a detective.
Military.
That's not
I
bad.
almost went into the Air Force after high school.
Yeah.
It's funny, I want to be an astronaut, so.
But I think
All gettable.
I think we can all
professions.
say race car driver would be the
Well,
obvious
of course,
pick.
yes, of course.
And just raconteur, man about town.
The profession of man about town.
Yeah, I think we'd all be professional
Well,
Jason
you know what I would do?
Stathams.
I would work in the newspapers.
To be that.
Oh, in the papers?
I'd be
you'd be a
newspaper
newspaper bullet
newsman.
delivery boy.
Yeah.
I'd be a newsie. I love song and dance.
I'm working my way up. I'm starting on the street corner and going up to editor-in-chief.
Dan, I thought
Be a
what
journalist
you were,
or something.
I thought what you were gonna say is, I would invent the industry of movies. I'd be an inventor,
Amazing.
and the invention I would invent is movies.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much at @BBlair86.